Right. I think maybe this is going to be one of those mythological short videos that I'm often thinking about a lot, but never seeming to get the hang of. However, I can see the chat, but I'm just going to start talking about kindness because it's pretty important. It's a fruit of the spirit. Its absence is pretty telling sometimes. By their fruits, you'll know them, etc. High comment warrior. So, as a virtue, um, it is it is a fruit of the Holy Spirit. It is a personal quality that we are spiritually enabled to manifest, as it were. It enables us to be sensitive to the needs of others. That's pretty important, the way the world is going. And even if it wasn't going that way, it's still pretty important. Hi, Tyler. And as a result of being able to take the needs of others into account, we are then able and blessed with the motivation potentially to endeavour to meet those needs. That's an odd noise for this time of the night. It is, hello, arm of God, it's the quality, it's, how do I want to put this? It's not one's behaviour necessarily, although of course that's like a good indicator. However, because of the subjectivity of, I'm going too long wordy, because it's subjective, because we're unable to actually see into other people's heads, as it were, because we're not God. Depending on, that's why it's best to be kind, because we don't know other people's struggles. We don't know what they're going through. We just don't know unless they tell us. And oftentimes with human beings, love them when they're far away mostly. Yeah, we don't know. So it's best to be kind because it's a blessing to be a blessing. And why would you want to be other than kind? That's rhetorical anyway. So it's the quality of one's being is what I'm trying to get at, as opposed to, but can incorporate one's behaviour. And this status quo makes kindness a personal virtue. It's not just an action. It's not just, hi Simon, it's not just doing something for somebody else. It's closely related, I guess, to altruism, in as much as it's very easy to manipulate people with kindness, and not the fruit of the spirit, but just the illusion of kindness. It's an unselfish act, although it is lovely to be loved. I'm reliably informed. We do it because it's the right thing to do and it's the good thing to do, and we're to be a light to others, to non-believers. The world is pretty dark. I'm not just saying because it's the middle of the night. It's just wild out there. I don't know how much attention you pay to what is going on, but that's my mantra anyway. So truly kind people are probably not very well known, in actual fact. I mean, there are exceptions to the rule. I just thought of a couple. There are people who become well known because of their kindness, but in terms of philanthropy, etc., if somebody's it doesn't mean you can't be kind if you're a multimillionaire, but the fact is that you have an additional pressure and a spotlight on your behavior, and possibly, most probably, a reason to engender, like to want to manipulate people into liking you because of whatever reasons they are. But true kindness is most probably demonstrated quietly. There's no real fanfare when you. I was given a task not that long ago because I'm not that old, but a long time ago. It wasn't in a galaxy far, far away. It was it was in England. And the task was to do something kind for somebody without them finding out. And it took me ages to wrap my head around it. Like, how will they know? Like, you can't. It's not as easy as it sounds. to do something nice for somebody, an act of kindness without them finding out, was a conundrum for me anyway. I found a way in the end, but that's besides the point. One of the, I won't say most well known, but among us, as it were, the story of the Good Samaritan, which is in the book of Luke, and it's chapter 10, 25 through 37, or 25 to 37, if you speak English properly. So he used the term neighbour whilst relaying this story to us within his gospel. The Samaritan in the story, was a kind man, or his actions were kind. His actions were selfless. Selflessness is usually a far firmer basis for kindness than any form of emotional need, because, as Lewis speaks about, some loves are need loves. We need to be needed, and we love being loved, no matter how socially awkward or introverted or extroverted, or, at our core, the first real piece, I guess, that we, other than our Christian walk, experience is as a child, and hopefully, please God, your childhood also was like the safety and kindness of your mother, at least. That's what's the word I'm going to look for? That's a blueprint for feeling safe and cared for and loved. So we seek to replicate that in one way or another in our relationships, and we also seek out negative behaviours to try to rectify past familial relationships. If we have siblings, that may well be the case for a long time. Either way, back to the Samaritan. You may remember, best-selling book. He saw the victim of I don't want to say street robbery, a highway robbery, I guess. And the victim was lying on the road to Jericho by the side of the road. And this man could have just carried on walking, could have, most likely. I saw a story today where a woman was beaten in Hyde Park, which is where Speaker's Corner is, for anybody who doesn't know. There was a rally, I won't say where it was for, but there were many, many, many people there. And she was jumped on and battered by some dude, and people were basically just allowing it to happen. One lady was kind of tugging at his jacket, and other people were laughing, people were filming it, and he wasn't joking. He was like banging her right in the face, as it were. There's a thing called bystander apathy, and this is in relation, I guess, to the Good Samaritan. The bystander apathy is that the more people, like, it seems counterintuitive, but the more people witness something bad, somebody being made into a victim, as it were, the less likely anyone is to do anything about it, because everybody looks for social clues to the people standing around. And if nobody looks as if they're about to intervene, then there's been some pretty big psychological studies on it, and it's a well-known phenomenon. People just stand by and allow the most horrific things to happen. Either way, on the road to Jericho, this guy said no. He wasn't a Cockney. He probably didn't put a P in his no either. The point is, he stuck him on his donkey, which is obviously the equivalent of letting him get into a car or whatever. Took him to an inn, and not only that, he didn't only take him away from the scene of the crime. He didn't only ensure his safety by taking him to a building, but he paid for his care and for his lodging, i.e., got him a room, as it were. And that's so there you go. So kindness is not only, it's a selfless act of giving. It doesn't have to be giving, obviously, just kind words, smiling at somebody, asking somebody how they are and actually waiting for an answer, or like sounding as if you mean it even. Prayer for people who don't know they're being prayed for. That was how I got around my conundrum. There's loads of things. It's not ever really financial. I mean, in this story, certainly it was. So usually, trying to think of counter examples. Usually, it's a bit like love. The more you practice it, the better you are. Like regardless of the beneficial repercussions on other people, it's something that you can practice, even though it's a fruit of the spirit. The fruits of the spirit are tricky in as much as theologically it's correct to assert that we don't do the good works. It's the spirit working through us. We just get out of the way long enough. But the more time proceeds with the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, the reason you will know them by their fruits is because you will know the absence or presence of the Holy Spirit within them. That's not to say, obviously, people suffer with depression and anxiety and things that make them withdraw from the world. But on their average day, as it were, somebody who has the Holy Spirit will at least stop short of cruelty, at least feel convicted if they are not kind when the opportunity arises. And that doesn't mean the person who needs the kindness ever knows that inner dialogue was going on, but certainly you'll get a nudge, as it were, and you'll get that feeling of, oh no, why didn't I do anything? Or I usually get it after my mouth has been moving for some time. I get the, oh, shut up, Kay, shut up. And it takes, I don't know, 20 minutes. I think I put it down to a fine art now. And then the anger dissipates. And then, because the converse of like being unkind is a whole, it's a whole separate arena that some of us can become pretty professional at. Like, it's very easy. It's so easy that it's a little bit worrying, in as much as sometimes I have an inner, I was going to say monologue, it's more of a dialogue really, but yeah, I have a voice. I have a part of me that is almost 24 hours a day ready for that kind of stuff, but then there is a quieter part that screams, shut up, don't do it, or go, like, just cease and desist. But that voice gets drowned out for about 20 minutes, and then we're all good to go again. So the virtue, let's stop doing an analysis of my psychology. The virtue can be something as small as I don't know, opening a door for an elderly person who's assistance. Actually, I haven't seen him lately. There's I just thinking there's a man I often help across the street who's blind. Haven't seen him for a while. I mean, obviously he hasn't seen me, but that's a silly joke. Either way, kindness is not always the easiest option, and it's not always the one. In the case of, for example, a mother maybe chastising her child, or it can appear that to the child at least, it can appear that the kind thing would be to let them stay out until midnight and give them additional money and not bother taking a phone number of where they're going, and that would, to them, that's the kind thing. But in actual fact, the kindness is ensuring their safety. So it's not about what's acceptable to other people. I mean, I don't mean be kind to people whether they want it or not. Taking their cigarettes away from them, for example, which is what my little sister used to think was a kindness to me. Either way, writing to somebody, I was talking to my mother about it today. Writing, taking the time, especially nowadays, to actually use snail mail and a pen and a paper and a stamp, and writing to somebody, not because, like, for no reason other than you want them to know they're being thought of and maybe ask how they are, etc. I like it anyway. Thoughtfulness, I think, is key. Like the smallest acts of kindness, I was saying it in the community post the other day, can literally change somebody's day, and by implication it can change their life. It doesn't like, and again, I'm not talking about giving people like lots of money or, you know, life-changing stuff, but that small thing can have also outward repercussions in terms of they may feel more able to be kind to someone else, and certainly can pay it forward, because I would I would pray, actually, I really hope it's not the case that I'm wrong, but I would assume that everybody who chat and who watches this video will be able to call to mind, even if their memory is terrible, with some prompting after a bit of time, a time when they've been touched by the kindness of somebody else. And usually strangers like slots into that sentence because it's even more seemingly unmerited when we receive the kindness of strangers. And that ties into Christ, because although he is not ashamed to call us brothers and sisters, we come into that familial relationship with him, spoiler alert, on the back of the biggest act of kindness that has ever been performed, like the crucifixion and resurrection. So, where was I going? Because I just veered wildly away. The value, where's my water? The value, like I say, it can, Lewis talks about, excuse me, Lewis talks about the ramifications of our speech. And that gave me like a massive pause for thought the first time I ever read it, because, like I say, I can potentially stop people at 10 paces with one lash of the tongue if, well, hopefully not nowadays, but anyway, the point is, what he spoke about was, he said that if you could see, if you were outside of time, I guess he didn't say that, but I just thought of like a God's eye view of it. If you could see the end result of a person's mortal existence, i.e., they're either hellbound or they are saved. If we could see the impact that our words, unkind or kind, can have on them, he said that if we could see the creatures, as it were, that they are to become, each person in a, I don't know, sliding doors kind of way, you know, is either saved or not at any given point throughout their life. So if our words have effects, which certainly they do, otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Yeah, if we're our kind words, he said, if we could see them in their heavenly glory, as it were, we would be tempted to worship them. And yet again, if you know, if we're unkind, because words are the most powerful thing. The Bible attests to it. And it speaks of bridling your tongue. Christ, of course, is slightly different with the two-edged sword. But I'm trying to check my memory. I think I can safely say that the most hurt I have ever been, and I mean, like, emotional pain, as I'm sure anyone who's been bereaved or heartbroken knows, it has a physical manifestation. Like, you feel either unbearable pain, and then you feel the numbness and you think, oh, what relief, there's no pain. But the numbness is painful as well. The numbness is just like it's like a small death. I don't know how to explain it. Where am I going with this? Where are you going with this, Kay? Pain, yes. Kindness, right. So words, thank you. Words have the ability to lift people up. I saw a video recently, one of those, like, you know, 2-minute vids, and the person was just driving around giving out random compliments. To be fair, some of them were a stretch, but that's not the issue. The point is, if you'd have seen like the brightness on the people who had been complimented, like, you could see that their whole demeanor has changed, and that it had really cheered them, and most definitely they would have gone and told somebody about that day, or in my estimation they would have. And that's just like, there's no effort in that. There's no downside really, unless obviously you want to appear surly, and I don't know, like, some people have got an agenda to. The point is that words and time, you know, like, I just thought back to the most hurtful thing that ever happened to me, And to be fair, it was a situational like occurrence. It was a set of events, and technically those didn't hinge on words. That whole feeling of despair and despondency, and nothing's ever going to be the same again, and that you've been punched in the throat kind of feeling, and your stomach's all of a sudden absent. You don't have any insides anymore because everything just feels waves of pain and numbness. Still, the words, either the words that you need to hear or the words that you do hear, are the linchpin of that. Yeah, it's most definitely there's a different center of our brain that deals with language, and that's very, very much, not as much as the nose potentially, because obviously if you smell something you can just evoke memories and pain and all sorts of things, but it's definitely up there in terms of high impact, like rapid response by your glands, as it were, and your feelings. I'm just looking at the chat, but I'm talking about kindness because everyone seems to. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm seeing what Bill's saying. You're right, Steve. What are you doing away? Right, oh, sugar, I didn't silence my phone. Sorry. Either way, let's get back at the ranch, as it were, even though I'm not an American. If we, okay, let's see, Matthew. Oh, sugar, I moved the notes too much. Okay. I'm going to run. I just haven't had my beads here anyway, but I pray for kindness every day, as one of the 9, as it were. And I'm going to run you through the others because they all facilitate to some degree or another the others. Each of those 9 can be, I very much doubt somebody would be blessed in isolation with just the one of them, but they all illuminate and magnify the others. So this is how they go. This is how they go, but I don't know if it's in order now. I thought of it because I learned it with a mnemonic, like I just learned the letters. Either way, this is the order that I go in, and that's why there's 10 beads. It's handy because you've got 9 for your fruits, as it were, and 1 for a big fruit. Either way, it's kindness, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, self-control, joy, faith, and love. So all of those, as you can imagine, help you to be kind, which is the first one that I always ask for, because that's the other thing. I was in bed a minute ago, and then there was a spider. It all just went mental for a hot second. They vacated the premises now, please God. They haven't had a resurrection and crawl back in. The point is, I was laying in bed, and then I had some messages on my phone, and then I was thinking, because I like a little think. I love a think, because it feels like you're doing something. You're not actually doing anything. It doesn't change anything unless you put an action into the thought, but that's not the point. The point is, I was praying, I started thinking, then I thought, oh, I need to pray about that. So I was praying, and I've got to be so, I hate the feeling that I'm like some sort of courtroom advocate, but when I say my prayers, I often have to rewind it, as it were, and put caveats in, because God has a sense of humor that makes mine just look like dad jokes, to be fair, and some brilliant ones in the last 7-8 months. If I had hours, I wouldn't tell you because it's between me and Jesus, as it were. However, I prayed something not that long ago, although it seems like a lifetime, and I got it. It wasn't what I meant at all. Either way, I just started praying for patience, and then I thought, oh no, I'm not getting caught out like that. Because when I pray for patience specifically, I get frustration, because I linked it back to what I was saying about a year ago. If the spirit is in us, it's not necessarily like a gift of the spirit, like there's just boom, there you go, there's your parcel, sign for it. It's something that we're able to Why don't I have any English in my brain? It's something that we're able to foster, like an attitude of willingness to even display those fruits of the Spirit. And the Spirit obviously works in us, convicts us when we act to the contrary, when we're unloving, when we're unkind, when we're not good, when we're, harsh as opposed to gentle, etc., etc. If you can imagine, if you imagine a kind word makes a difference to a stranger's day, maybe for half an hour, maybe they just whistle a little bit as they get to work, maybe they're just a slightly nicer person. But if you extrapolate it just through one person's day, and of course we don't know that person's life or their heart, but by the time the day starts well, if like everything else is playing along, that could have some people go home and they just snap and kill their family. Like, I'm not trying to say that you giving some, like, smiling and as you go onto the train is going to avert that. But usually your day takes either an upward or downward trajectory. I just think that it's really important because it's something that can be compounded, and the absence of kindness can leave such a... God is not the God of confusion. This year, my grandmother's been quite old. I mean, she was old last year, but she's been facing a different set of challenges. And there's a certain tradition. Like, there's something she does every year for me and for my siblings. And this year she didn't do it. And it was only like there's no ramifications. There's no like real life repercussions to her doing it or otherwise. But it's just something that I was so jarred by its absence. Like, I thought that was more serious to me than her falling over and all of the associated stuff that she's got going on. I was like, oh my gosh, she didn't do it this year. And it was just like, I felt, I can't explain that, like bereft. And it's the smallest thing that she's done since I was a child. And she just didn't do it. And not because of any unkindness, but because she's like got her own stuff going on. Maybe she didn't think of it. She's sleeping a lot more than she used to nowadays. So potentially it's that. And I wouldn't obviously bring it up to her because I wouldn't want her to feel bad, because she's one of the kindest women that I've ever had the pleasure to meet. And that doesn't, where I grew up, kindness can be taken as a weakness. Like, it's an actual saying, they'll take your kindness for a weakness, because I guess the narrative is that if you're like too kind, you'll be just perceived as a bit of a mug, and people will mug you off, i.e. extract the urine, take the Michael. So it's not the case though, because my nan is just I think the strongest woman I've ever met, like in terms of moral fibre and backbone, and keeping her word, and being like just staunchly like amazing. I don't know how to put it. But the where was I going with that? The lack of that one like kind act. That's not the only kind act. I mean, she's all about it. And when I was younger, we walked past somebody who was begging, and I nearly fell over, like I nearly fell off the floor, as it were, because she told the man in no uncertain terms, like what he should do with his little cup and where he should go and what he should do when he got there. And I was just, because I'd always assumed that she was just kind generically, didn't realise it was reserved for people that she loved, and she had no reason to love that guy because, whatever, I think he was a bit of a charlatan. The point is, the absence of that kind act affected me more than I thought. Well, just considering it now, it affected me in this way. It made me feel not less loved, but less considered, and feeling that we are considered. Like, feeling loved is one thing. Feeling love is actually not related to being loved. We can be as loved as you like, and if you don't feel it, most of the benefit of that transaction is missing. And that's like the monkey experiment with the ones who feel loved are almost on a par with the ones who are loved, but such a massive chasm between those two groups and the ones who receive no maternal stimulation, no love, as it were. So as a result of not receiving this action, having this thing happen, that then had, I'm only just thinking it out loud, that had repercussions on people that I love, because then I was a little more sensitive to, I was about to go well dramatic then, like neglect. No. I was more sensitive to not being considered. And that's why it's subjective. Kindness is subjective. I can think to myself, I'm being jolly kind over here doing this X, Y, Z, all the thing, whatever things I do. Because throughout the day, every day, without fail, 365 days a year, I am blessed with the, I won't say responsibility, but people feel able to talk to me. They feel that I am someone who they can ask for help, which is lovely. Not always lovely, that's a fib. But in the end, it's a blessing. That's the end of that. Like, it's nice to even be like considered as in, oh my gosh, who's going to help me? And then they think like, that's nice. It's better than like, oh, you're joking and it's just going to, make it worse. But the flip side of that sometimes, and potentially some people will identify with it, is that if you're, it's like, who cares for the carer? Who loves the one who loves the most? Because if you're busy, not trying to fix people, that's the wrong way to look at it. If you are proactive in terms of kindness, oftentimes you'll be overlooked when it comes to people like, people are grateful. That's nice, because you're not doing it for their gratitude. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and it's a kindness, and it makes you a better person. It makes your indwelling of the Holy Spirit more solidified. That's not even the right, I don't know what I'm talking about. I do. It means it's more ingrained or something like that. Practice makes perfect. Obviously, none of us are perfect. But the ramifications, spread out to others. And because we don't know the trials and tribulations and battles and struggles and, I don't know, anniversaries, for example. Like, I've got a few now because of people passing away. But I would confidently say that I'm slightly less, what's the word? Serene on those days. I'm very rarely serene, let's have it right. But I do have moments of tranquility and long moments of happiness. Less recently, I've just had some little ups and downs and sideways. But for quite a while, like I always wake up happy. Over the weekend, I had a couple of days off, as it were, and I had some of the most excruciating pain I've ever felt, because my brain went, "Oh, we're doing this now," and then just skated off into catastrophe, like into anxiety, I guess, but just projecting forward, things like concerns about my grandmother and about relationships and about, like, once you let one in, it's just all over bar the sweeping up. You might as well just take to your bed. Well, I did. Point is, kindness doesn't cost anyone anything if you're, financially minded, and it makes, like, think of it, it just makes the world a better place, even if that world is restricted to your own household or your own street or your own, locality. What's the alternative? Like, the alternative is being a bit of a dick. And I'm quite good at that. I don't know about you. If you've had years of practice without Jesus, as it were, then you probably are. And I'm very, I don't want to say never, because that might be a fib and my memory is terrible. But I know that I could count on one hand the times I've regretted kindness. And I've got a list as long as your arm of you know, the unkind words that I've said and the things that I'll never be able to take back. And some of the people I couldn't even attempt to make amends because they're not here anymore, because people quite irritatingly keep dying. I don't know if I mentioned it. Don't die, by the way, if you're watching. If you can help it, please. Thanks, lots of love, etc. Am I running out of things to say about kindness? Is Kay running out of things to say? Lol. Oh, a joke. If you know somebody is already kind and you don't feel like, sometimes humility, oh, it's a curse. I'm only joking. Sometimes you may be the kindest person somebody knows, but you think of obviously somebody else as an archetype of kindness in your life, or you know, they just. I mean, it's a lovely accolade, really, to be thought of as kind. But if you do know somebody who's kind, even saying thank you, like, is a blessing to them, and it's heartening. Like, there are people who, you know, for zero monies. I'm thinking of one lady I know who goes and runs it's not called a soup kitchen because I think that's probably old fashioned. It's like a food bank. She doesn't get paid, and it's stressful. I watch, like, I've helped out, and I you know, it's a lot of like intense pressure for the couple of hours that she's like a public facing, as it were. And then there's moving all the stock and collecting it from different restaurants and putting it where it needs to be, and etc. But she does it cheerfully. And I mean, now I've seen her have a little meltdown once, but she doesn't have to do it. And it's totally, yeah, altruistic. She doesn't get anything from doing it other than the blessing and the joy, which is another fruit of the spirit that you get from making somebody's life a little bit easier. Because I don't know if you've heard, but Satan and wickedness are running this ship, like literally under the dominion of wickedness. That's the Bible, not me talking. So really, you could think of it as psyops. You could think of it as, you know, being in enemy-controlled territory and going against the war machine, if you want to. Or you can think of it as holding a door open for an old lady, because why not? Like, the thing to, when we see each other as obstacles, like when I often, like, if you're in London, if you've ever been on the tube, or if you ever, oh, sorry, every Sunday, if you go down certain streets in the West End of London, they're very tourist heavy, bless them. However, they just congregate in the middle of the pavement / sidewalk, whatever length, like whatever version of English you have. And they're just so touristy. And you're trying to get somewhere, and don't you know how, like, you're quite important, obviously, in this scenario, but they just stop and they just, like, they're just looking at, like, that's uncharitable. The point is, you don't have to stab them. That's not the point. What was the point? I've forgotten. Hang on a minute. Wait. Where was I going with that? Sugar, I can't leave it there. Don't stab them. That doesn't sound right, even to my ears at this time of the morning. Shucks, I'm going to come back to that one. No, I can't think of it. How awful. Okay, let's get back to thanking somebody who's kind in your life. Pray for discernment that you'll be able to tell. Because, like I said about, like, holstering your tongue, as it were. Sorry, I just said the most ridiculous mental image. When I know I should be doing it, I find it difficult. I haven't got time to be unkind. I literally haven't got time. I could reel off a list of names. Not all of them you would know. Some of them you may, like if you were lucky enough to meet these people, who are unavailable for life, like, anymore. That's it. Like, done. Finito. And the chance, like the thought of the chance of even being able to shout at them, let alone, like the thought of, I'm not going to go again. There's no way I'm sitting crying on luxury again. Nope. No. So the point is, you don't know that the words that you say to someone could be the last that you ever do. Especially if you're rude, you might just get to me. I'm only joking. ish. When, like, it's an effort, but not of our own will. Like, when I feel hurt, I very rarely feel the hurt initially. If I feel ignored, if I feel disregarded, unconsidered, unimportant, whatever, like weak, any of those, I don't know, feelings, it's only a split second that I get the heads up of that's how I really feel. And then, like, almost, well, and that's not true. It takes time, but it builds into anger. And it builds pretty quickly, like, or it descends into anger, or however you want to think of it. And once I feel justifiably and righteously indignant, obviously, it wouldn't be any good if you felt like, oh, whatever. Then, if I don't close my lips, as it were, stop typing, all hell can break loose, because that's my only responsibility in the transaction. If I'm speaking with, like, one-on-one with someone, that's the only thing I can do. Is I can try to temper my reactions, as it were, because I tried that and it does work. You think, well, they don't know what's going on with me, and they're a bit of a div anyway, like, in a nice way. And they're, like, probably, I don't know, having a bad day, something like that. And then the little voice goes, yes, so are you now. Sharing is caring, but if you're just going to share, like, the point is, let's get back to the point, Kay. What was the point? Who knows? God, if you ask him, he's massive in the kindness game. Literally, founder, CEO, started the whole kindness shebang. Like, he's the one to turn to. Christ, like, that's just like a joke to even try. Like, he is kindness, he is love. I wouldn't necessarily pray for patience if I were you, because you get, like, all the stressy stuff. That's what I was trying to pray. I was trying to word my prayer so that I got it as a gift. Like, could you just drop some kindness off? Could I have a piece of patience that I don't have to work for, that I don't have to, like, take deep breaths? And it doesn't really work like that for me. I did get one fruit of the spirit once, just boom, dropped in my lap, and I had the cheek to be moaning. I was like, why? Excuse me, I didn't order this. No, shizzle, yeah. So you have to work for the patience and the kindness. But the more you do, like, the nicer your world will be. The nicer your, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins aside, because there are, like, chemical payoffs. I'm trying to wrap up this thought that I'm having, but occasionally you may find that if you go to an effort to be kind, if you go against your, I don't want to say nature, but you go against the situation or that you're in, somebody's coming at you with, like, rudeness or aggression or whatever, and you manage, like, to be kind in the face of that, and it doesn't work, and they carry on being a tit, that sometimes can, like, the thing to watch for, the red flag, is that you take that and then you reinforce that, and you say, well, what's the point? What's the point in being kind? You're right, apostate, prophet, lovey. No, I don't. I never have, I never will. I don't talk to Satan, like, one-on-one. I'm not Kenneth Copeland, babes. Either way, kindness, you can use it to reinforce the fact that that didn't work, that venture of kindness, because really the scenario I gave you is not utterly altruistic. You want, I won't say to maintain control of the conversation, because that sounds a bit like the inside of my brain. I don't mean it like that. I mean, what you want is peace on earth and goodwill to all men in a text, like, exchange. But if it doesn't work, you can fall into the trap of the well, I tried, and look how good I am. I tried, but it didn't work. And then next time you might try a bit less and a bit less. Whereas it's true kindness is unencumbered by expectations. You're not being kind. You're not manipulating. You're not being kind to get an outcome. You're being kind because kindness is the right thing to do, even if you're an atheist and you, like, base your morals in, I don't know what, custard. So anyway, Cherokee too as well. Yeah, if you had Skype, Cherokee, Oh, apostate prophet, if you accepted Skype requests as well, I mean, we'd all be buzzing. What kindness that would be. Either way, let me finish up this shiz before I start feeling unkind. Cherokee, do it today, love. I can't say it, man, many more times. I just can't. And now it's for posterity on this video recording. If you ask God, I mean, AP, you can ask science, well, to bless you with the virtue, which it is. All right, if you don't believe in God, yeah, you can just try to be kind. That's nice. Like, it is nice. There may be an ulterior motive in it, but there might be, even if you've got God, as it were, because God is there whether you've got him or not. Within the expression of kindness, not only are we potentially able to edify and soothe like insecurities in other people, make people's day, make them smiling is such a I mean, the fact that we've all just come out of like covering our faces potentially, if you like followed those rules, wearing masks and that, I don't know if anyone else felt it. You don't get to see anyone smile outside if their face is covered. I'm not even talking about niqab. I'm talking about the masks. To be able to make somebody smile, like, humor is a good way, but it can also be used unkindly. But you will see God transform the lives of other people through you, is the bottom line. I know that sounds pretty like I've kind of skipped from make them smile into God working through you, because I just lost all my words. I couldn't think of how to make it seem important, as important as it is. It's one of the most important things you do, like loving people. I mean, you can love people and they'll never know about it if it's I don't know, like you can love people who are dead. Literally, you can still love them. Kindness is an action, as Bill was saying earlier. Niceness, it is nice to be nice, but niceness is more of a, I mean, niceness can be an action, but it doesn't really linguistically make sense. Kindness is a good intent, usually selfless, although it doesn't have to be. A good intent that is manifest in the world by your proactiveness action. You're doing something. And that's the other thing. People get, oh my gosh, I wonder if Jordan's in here. I was just thinking of small acts of thingy, and I realised I've still got her Christmas gift. Oh, I'm sitting over there. So that kindness didn't really. Oh, Jordan, shh! Nobody tell her. The point is, well, that's a niceness then that hasn't manifested to a kindness yet. Shucks. The point is, I know what the point is. The point is that tiny little gifts, doesn't cost any money. Like, it doesn't have to be, I don't mean steal it. I mean, whatever. It's the token of affection that, yeah, just makes. I received something today from my daughter, unexpectedly, in the post, and I was expecting a different parcel, and then I was like, they don't usually call me mum. Like, that's a weird one. But because of its unexpected nature, I already know she loves me. I already know the other person loves me who's sending the other puzzle. Quite big in the love game over here, you might have noticed. The point is, there is no real downside. Like, if you're making somebody smile, that releases all sorts of endorphins and stuff, and it's pretty infectious as well. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those viral videos where someone just goes onto the subway and just starts laughing, and before you know it, the entire carriage is laughing just with they don't even know the joke. There is no joke. There's just someone who's really good at laughing on command, and people get involved because, in the same way that, I don't even want to go too theological, in the same way that bad vibes, badness, evil, however you want to, anger begets anger in other people. If you aggressively approach someone shouting, the chances are that if the person isn't like a very nervous disposition, they will like shout back. They will become aggressive and irritated and angry and less able to control their themselves. And then the converse is true for kindness. The more you can hone it as a skill. It's not like I'm not doing this vid to make anyone sit there thinking, "Oh no, I'm so unkind," because usually people don't really like. That's the thing about. All right, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to try not to personalize it just in case. There are ways of saying things. You can say the exact same thing in essence, although not literally, with slightly different words, a different tone of voice if you're lucky enough to be speaking in person, with a different inflection if you're like writing a letter, or I don't know, a smiley face at the end if you're writing a text, or something along those lines that can radically alter the person's perception of what's just been said, let alone your intent. And why wouldn't you choose the nice version of that? I mean, I'm guilty of the thing that I really didn't like using, but I must admit I kind of do sometimes, is the out of office reply thing when your phone's ringing and you get the option. I can't talk right now, sorry. I don't know. I'm in a meeting. I'm at whatever it is, none of them, because you can go in and edit them, by the way, and I'm going to do that. I haven't got my pen and paper. I'm going to do that to just silly ones. But that's not the point. The point is they've never got like they haven't got anything other than an officious get out of my life a minute, please. I'm far too important and I'm busy. That kind of vibe, at least. I must admit I used them a couple of times recently. So yeah, eye contact, smiling, I don't know, doing things for people, praying for the persecuted church, writing to, oh gosh, I put the link in the live chat yesterday, a video of this little tiny tribe receiving their first Bibles in their own language. And I cried the first time I saw it. I don't care. I'm tough, but whatever. I cried because they do this big prayer at the end, and they've the little tiny aeroplane is there, and they've got their little gospels and all of that. And the man, I don't know if he's a pastor or if he's the tribal leader or whatever, but he's just he puts it so beautifully, even though obviously it's just captions and he's speaking in his own language, but it's really edifying, really, because I was saying it to somebody yesterday probably. I must have, I don't know, 7, 8 Bibles, and then I've got one over there, and I've got on my phone, there's just countless, obviously, because they don't take up space, they don't eat anything, they don't need to pay rent. How much of a blessing is it? If you just for one hot second, if you imagine the infinite wisdom and blessings that the Bible contains, or are held within it, and then imagine, and it will come even in the West. There will be a time, maybe not in our lifetimes, but potentially, when the Bible will be illegal, it will be outlawed, it will be banned, it will be removed. And it already is the case in many, many parts of the world that is already true. The first video I ever saw, because I was considering, even when I went to Canada recently, I'm not going to go into the details because I'm going back to Canada, so I'm not going to even. The point is, I ended up having a conversation with a pastor, somebody, and I agreed, and I wanted, I started trying to look into it, in as much as the Bible's absolutely clear, don't steal, don't go against the laws of the country that you're in. And then I worked with and alongside and advocated for persecution, like International Christian Concern and Open Doors and others, for at least a couple of years now. So I see testimonies that maybe other people don't get to see. But the first I saw were Chinese Christians receiving their first Bibles, where the Bible is yeah, it's illegal. It's illegal to have online versions of it. There's a state-sponsored, as it were, version where Jesus, I can't even laugh because it's not funny, but it's just so pathetic. They rewrote it so that Jesus, the adulterous woman, it's not funny. It's so not funny, but it is just Monty Python-esque now. Yeah, he says, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Obviously looks around when they all do a runner. And then in the Chinese, he picks up the stone and kills the woman. I mean, for one, they're still attesting to the fact that he's God, because obviously they're saying he's without sin, so he must have been able to pick up the stone. But still, like, it's a joke. And the fact that they haven't got any real Bibles, I mean, unreal Bibles can cause some headaches. I mean, I can't even think of his name, that JW guy who stuck the A in and made it a polytheistic religion and made Jesus a God instead of the God. I mean, it makes a difference. I think maybe I've come to the end of mine. I'll tell you another thing. The way that fear is replicated by Satan in a dodgy, like counterfeit, snidey, anxiety version, kindness, like genuine kindness, cannot be replicated or duplicated for, like, that's not genuine anyway. Kindness, of course, is like easily a very obvious and well-used tool of psychological manipulators. That's obviously like it's much nicer to, you can get things with you don't have to be physically torturing people to get stuff. That's usually why there's the one good cop and the one bad cop, as it were, because there's kindness. Murad, yes, I will. Now that you've asked and I'm doing a stream on kindness, I of course have to say yes, I will. I will. Yeah, I will. When I see him this week, I will. I won't run or duck. I won't stop, drop, and roll. I'll let Jesus decide. I won't run, and then we'll see what happens. I feel like I don't want to, it's setting a dangerous precedent for me to go and say to him, do you want to make a video? Because that's never happened. But yeah, I won't rule it out because of kindness and the commission that I've got, which I started feeling like I was bullying him a little bit. I don't like bullies. I don't like, I've never, like, I have been very unkind in my life, in like sporadic doses. Like, yeah, I've done that, been there, potentially got a t-shirt somewhere. However, I don't feel like it's an integral part of my makeup, even though, like, I've got the inner heckler, as it were. I don't. That's the reason that part of me is compartmentalized, because it doesn't feel like the genuine me. Although I did spend a long time covering up the nicey bits, because it doesn't seem very tough or, like, I don't know about cool, because I'm not in a gang. I'm in the body of Christ. But when I was younger, obviously, you can't be too nice because people are dibs. Anyway, if you pray, like, obviously speaking to other Christians is also like just ideas of how to be kind. Sometimes you're just like, rack your brains and you're like, if you don't know the person, but I can guarantee you from my own personal experience that the replies you will get from members of the persecuted church when you write to them, anonymously, obviously they are, like, that's one of the most touching, like, affirmations. Not that you need it, because again, we're not being kind to get stuff back, but the body of Christ is blessed anyway. When one of us is joyous, the others are by default, and when one is suffering, so do we all. So in that respect, we are emboldened by kindness and edified by it, and just get on with it. How much longer do I have to smile sweetly and say please? Just do it. What's the point? Just do it, please, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. Lots of love, etc. No demons can, it's a good indicator, like, of somebody's true nature. If when they're not looking, as it were, if you see kindness in them, it's usually a good indicator as to oh gosh, I don't mean their worth as a person, because they're all worth. I mean nobody's born, Hitler, let's chuck him under the bus again. He wasn't born, like, he was a tiny little baby Adolf once, and he had all the same potentialities as the rest of us. He just chose, well, yeah, his free will. He got to a certain point, and then the converse of kindness, I don't think we're going to call it unkindness, but it started off as small cruelties, most like serial killers, even people who have, yeah, I'm not going to go into the politics. I was thinking of Vlad Tepes, Dracula, Vlad Tepes. I was thinking that, it starts with small cruelties to animals, maybe, and it builds up, and was a little bit of impaling between friends. And even though there was benefit, like, to massive groups of people because of his actions, it's like it's a house of cards. If you start with unkindness, I mean, God will bring goodness out of all things, avoid evil, whatever, as it were. But why start off like friendships, relationships? Like, it's not to say no one's full time. You know what I mean? Everyone gets tired, hungry, angry, lonely, like whatever it is that triggers off, I don't know, the need to psychologically distance. But I don't see that there's much alternative if you want to, like, have. When you're by yourself, when you have to look in the mirror, like, who do you want to see? Like, do you want to be able to look at yourself? I don't mean to be proud, because that's like, that's all a bit dramatic. But I just mean not like, oh, it's you again. When you look in your own mirror, like, just, we're just able to see you later, Simon. We're just, we've got two options. We can make just one person's life a little bit nicer, or we can make their lives like not nice at all. Speaking from experience, like, that sounds like a threat. I don't even mean it like that. I just mean, what's the point? Because they'll make someone else's life less enjoyable, and none of us have got. I can't say it enough. None of us are guaranteed even tomorrow. That's it. That's the bottom line. If you think I'm joking, get older. Like, and you'll see what goes down. You're right, Nunca. Anyway, anyone got anything to say about that? Because I think I just waffled my way through some kindness there. I like waffling. But yeah. Anyway, have at it. I mean, it would be kind if you did. I'm joking. It's up to you. If anyone's got anything to say, speak now or forever hold your keyboard. Repent. You're right, lovely. Always pleased to see you. Always pleased to see you. Thank you, Tyler. Is it a year already, Cherokee? Do you know, hang on a minute, 5 days ago was the anniversary of somebody's death for me, and I couldn't believe it was a year as well. I was like, I was telling my it's all right. I was telling one of my neighbours, we were just walking over to the supermarket, and I was like saying, if somebody would have like even put me on a lie detector or took me to court and said, right, can you tell us how long ago it was that Ren, the girl downstairs, like, when was that she passed away? I would have confidently, I would have said, 5, 6 months, 6.5, 7. No way. I thought there's just no way. And that's how quick. Like, and I also was saying to my neighbour, It's always Thursday. I'm not in Groundhog Day, but every week I'm like, is it Thursday again already? Like, I don't know why Thursday. I don't know what the significance of Thursday is because nothing different happens. I think maybe I had uni lectures once on Thursdays, but every week, and again, well, it's gone now because it's past midnight here. But yeah, I'm like, what? It was. I would be confidently asserting to anyone who listened, it's Thursday like 3 days ago, Rob, and it's Thursday again, and then it's Thursday again. And I don't know how they do it in your country, but when I was a little girl, we used to have 6 weeks holidays from school, from like, I don't know, May to September, I guess, whatever it was. Oh my God, where would I be without you, sir? It's just the precision, the facts that just come into the chat. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know where I would be, what I'd be doing. But where was I? See, he's thrown me right off again. Oh, 6 weeks holidays. When you're a kid, 6 weeks holidays last for about a year. It's easily a year. Like, you're like right on the first day of your 6 weeks holidays, you're like, oh my gosh, I've got 6 weeks worth of freedom. I don't have to get up and school. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just takes so long. And the summer days are longer anyway, and it's all healthy on like recollections and yada yada. Then 20 minutes later, it's Thursday again. Every 2 days. It's like Ned Ryerson. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but your time is not, well, it's not your own anyway, it belongs to Jesus. But if you think you've got, like, when I speak to my grandmother, like, she's practically twice my age, and it goes very quickly. And that's if you're blessed with an old age to zoom into, as it were, on a Zimmer frame. So yeah, Cherokee, I know I've been trying to catch up with you all year, madam, but some of us find it difficult to find time to get on the computer. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there, Cherokee. Let's do it, madam. You missed out. I could have kept you laughing for at least 8 months if you were available. Well, then you better accept the doodah. Maybe there's a different Cherokee who I've accidentally friend requested, or whatever you call it. Either way, questions, comments. Don't throw stuff at your own screen. Obviously, those are silly. But yeah, who needs sleep anyway? I laugh in the face. Do you know I wasted 4.5 hours? I'm getting onto a little rant here. I just felt it building up in me. I wasted 4.5 hours the other day waiting for tradesmen. Just the one, I think, tradesman. No show. No, nothing. Nothing. Not a telephone call, not an email, not a go and scratch yourself, nothing. Nothing. On the phone like 3 times, sitting by myself somewhere where there's, it's sadness, like in that place where I was. And it just as an aside, the kindness was that one of the ladies from the I don't know, the reception of the place called me today out of the blue to follow up because I'd been on the phone to her that many times. And she said, oh, that's all right, I can see a little update. Yeah, they said they came round. And I was growling. I was like, no. Like, I was sitting in silence there. There's no possible way. Anyway, the kindness was that she followed it up and called me. She didn't have to. So I was quite taken aback by that. Gypsy Believer, if you would be so kind, which is apt for the video, if you would send me a link to that in the comment for this video, comment section even, I shall be able to see it. You won't, or maybe you will, but nobody else will see it because links are verboten, forbidden, disallowed in the comment section for my vids. So once you press send, they just go into my held for review folder. So yeah, please do, because I'd like to see that. That sounds interesting. I like things. Curios things. If you can find any examples, even just a photograph, and send me the link to the search engine thingy. If you can't, you can't, but at least you're going to have to. It sounds unkind, but I don't. The way to do that, Gypsy Believer, is to just put the message that you want, like personally, as it were, for me only to see. Just put a link to anything. Put a link to this video in a comment. Put a link to anything. When I say anything, let's not get silly, but yeah, any link will mean that your comment is invisible to other people. You and all repent. Repent. Why are you asking? You could just DM me on Discord. What? Anyhow, yeah, that's how you do it with the links. But anyone else who wants to see these keyhole thingies, once I get them, we'll have little butchers, as it were. What, you humming the real Cherokee, as it were? No. I haven't been 14 for years, my love. But I do know that means Instagram, so that's how hip and happening and damn with the kids I am. Bro. Sis. It's exactly. Cherokee, let's not make out that we've, yeah. Life's too short, please. Although I don't fancy growing old gracefully. I don't know. I don't know what, oh gosh. Time is of the essence, lovies. It's not a good look. Yeah. I really haven't got time for anything less than. It's not like I'm walking around. Sorry, I'm reading at the same time, Gypsy. It's not like I'm walking around. Oh, you didn't do that. Not like I'm walking around demanding niceness and kindness and like throwing all my toys out the pram every time someone's not nice. However, I feel that I have extenuating circumstances. I really do. Because I'm special. No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's how it seems to everybody. You think if they knew the day I'd had, if they knew the, like, the series of unfortunate events that is my life at present, or if they knew how much I just needed a cuddle, they wouldn't be an absolute dick. But because we don't use our grown-up words and tell people, they don't know because they're not psychic. I mean, I've got a crystal ball. Literally, you can't see it. It's behind me. Doesn't really work. Just needs dusting. Oh God, I'm still waiting, my little love, on this. Imagine, like, there was supposedly a consignment of chocolate. See, Jordan's not here. You think I won't bring it up? Well, also, I've got type of diabetes. So what I need is admins and friends with the emotional range of a little bit more than a teaspoon, so that if I happen to be my usual charming, lovely self and somebody takes it the wrong way, maybe, or I don't know, that here, Jordan's back. Someone said chocolate. She's like, whoom, in, just bang, it's just there, like some sort of genie. But, however, emotional range of a teaspoon, right? Chocolate is not the real, like, love is the answer. I might have said it a billion times by now. I realise it takes some getting used to. Chocolate is not the answer. Chocolate is potentially a contributing factor to diabetes. And you have to start asking people, does your bum look big in this? You know, all that shit. Like, nah, not really. I do have chocolate though. Somebody gave me some the other day. Not by the end of April, NJ. Do you mean academically? No, at the end of April, I'm starting another module. I'm doing something. My whole life is loosely tied into my apologetics. Now I think of it because of Romans 8:28. But I'm doing stuff that's relevant to Christian. I'm doing mainly Christian, all Christian theology now. Oh, I see, NJ. Well, now, at the moment, she said, looking at the little calendar thing she's on. I got another 6 days of relative. I mean, I've got full control of my mouth. No, I've got where I don't see a link. I can't click something that I can't see. If you put it in the comment section, then I'll see it afterwards when I go into the studio. But I can't do it now because I'm streaming. Either way, I've got a few days of when I handed my assignment in, I was so like wow. I was pretty elated, and then my life obviously went completely and utterly wonky for a hot minute because obviously why is my constant prayer really. But either way, I've got 6 days left until the next load of little stressiness, NJ. So it's all right. It's a reduced rate of study to what I'm conditioned to from previous study. It's all right. I just like to procrastinate. I don't like it, but I do procrastinate. I could be doing the assignment like the minute I start the module, really, but I don't. I leave it all to the last minute because what is life without a breakdown every 10 to 12 weeks? Gypsy Believer probably going Discord. I think the link is, I can't check at the moment, Lovey. That's a fib. It would mean clicking and right clicking and doing stuff. But Cherokee, my little love, could you grab an invite from the Discord server and paste it into the live chat? I'll be your best friend. I already am. Please. Lots of fun. Thank you. Bye. Or Jordan. Or Repent. Or anyone in here who's also in. Thanks. See, I was going full-fledged. Okay, so, do you know what? I thought the chocolates were behind me on the doodah. That's all right. Oh my God. Well, I'm advertising. But that's a kindness that I just remember doing it myself. I got out of bed. I was like, right, I'm doing a live stream. We're going to talk to these people about kindness. What are they doing laying there in their beds? Not even that kind of internal monologue. And then I saw that normally I clear anything that's on the shelf, like so it doesn't, apart from the book, so it doesn't look awful. And then I thought, no, I'm going to put the chocolates on the bed. Oh, yeah. Probably. I didn't introduce you to my dietitian, everybody who's in the chat. They are too. I don't normally shove them in my mouth like that. I normally do a whole fiddly thing, but I felt embarrassed. Sorry. Anyhow, I feel like maybe that's a natural conclusion. Because now I've triggered, well, now I've been unkind and made you all realise that you don't have chocolate, potentially. Yeah, I reckon it is. Does everyone reckon it is? It doesn't really matter because this chick needs to sleep eventually. I mean, it's 3 a.m, but it's nice to be nice. Okay, Gypsy Believer. All right. I tell you what, Gypsy Believer, do me a favour, please, if you don't mind, if you can find the kindness. If you just comment and remind me in the big comment section, the downstairs one, not the sideways one, as it were, not the live chat, the comment section. If you ask me for a Discord link, I will generate one. And this will be tomorrow, by the way, or English tomorrow. No, English later today once I've been to sleep and got up again. I will send you a fresh link because Cherokee is telling me it's an invalid invite. And yeah, then you can come into Discord and there's loads of people there and there's whole channels. You can just put as many pictures, videos and yada yadas as you want to. Thank you, Nunca. Right. You're very welcome, obviously. De nada, mi hermana. Okay. I will do. But Gypsy Believer, please do remind me in the real life comment section, like after the vid, if that's all right. Because I've got a whole pad full of lists and lists of the lists that I have to make, and then I have to make the list, and then my brain just started hurting at the thought of trying to remember it. You don't have to go on camera, Gypsy Believer. There's areas of Discord where it's just type. Mainly it's just type, 99%. Even in the voice channels, you can go only microphone or camera. It's entirely up to you. I know, Nunko. Chris Mack, good night. All right, I'm going to press the first button, then you're all better at saying goodbye than me. I've got abandonment issues. I don't know why. I do know what it is. Right, Cherokee, I'm going to say it one more time, love. Please go and accept the invite link. And if that's not you, I've clicked an hello to or whatever it is. I'm just sitting there waving like a yellow div. Send me one, because I think it's my, I don't know. I think it's a picture of me and my name. Like, I know, crazy. So anyway, I shall see you all tomorrow. And yeah, think about being kind. I don't want to hammer it home or anything, but I do it. And those of you I know personally, if I don't see a marked change in your, I want to know. Put in the comment section if you think of something good, because then we can all do it. You know what I mean? Like, there's little tiny things you can do that are just so no effort whatsoever, and it just makes someone smile. And I like making people smile. I like it a lot. Just do it. Try it. You never know, you might like it too. This is the goodbye bit, you may have noticed. So I'm going to go for the ruthless, as it were. I've got the red button sitting right in front of me, mocking me and my inability to sever this connection. But it's only the computer connection. I still love you all. And yeah, don't forget to say your prayers if you're going to bed. And if you're not, do them anyway. Girls, right, Cherokee and Jordan. I don't know if Piggy's in here, but all of us need to be on Skype at the exact same time. That's all I'm saying. You know, the fate of the world depends on it. Ish. Chocolate sales depend on it. I know you are. You right? Find me. Find me, woman. K SOCO Films. If not, let me know in the DMs in Discord, and I will send you an invite link or whatever. But then I have to wait for you again. No, you send me an invite link, or just find me on there. You have to. This is turned into a private phone call. No, you put the phone down. All right. Anyway, we'll work it out. Two big grown women. I'm sure we'll be able to do this rocket surgery kind of thing. Me and Jordan have had it worked, sussed for ages. Get on board, love. We need to know you're all right. We all need to know what's going down, as it were, in Jesus Town. All right, that's it. I've started. Oh, mate, I've gone. Right, lots of love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.